Okay, I think we are live. So let me get that link. Copy or share. All right, I'm gonna send it to you and let you spam that out.
Okay.
All right, so we should probably wait just a minute maybe before we start, just because we just gave out the link. Oh, Hoth's already here, man. He's fast. We should post a link to the is that channel or that channel inside of the wiki public for everybody? So I can invite people
I
there.
shared it on
Oh,
announcements, but I don't know how
it
many people
says
want to join there.
it says invites are disabled, but when I right click on it, so I was gonna put the link in the YouTube chat.
Oh, like the one from the announcement that I did today?
It's the Zach and Beats podcast chat. If I right click on it and click invite people, it says to add a friend to the server, ask someone with invite permissions for
Yeah,
help.
because you need a role, so you gotta share, click the welcome on the welcome channel
Yeah.
and use that as invite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they gotta get the role. They gotta go get like the podcast role to get in there. I know it's kind of there's too much stuff there, so we try to not
So if
show all the channels.
oh, okay. So if I actually invite them, they'll have to jump through hoops to get to that chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
But I mean, people just want to use it here. You know, on YouTube, it's probably fine too.
Yeah. Oh, DZ from the Berg. Yeah, he's coming for me. That's not good. If he's coming for me, Marlo, that means he's coming for you too. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a YouTube account that I can share.
What do you mean that you can share?
Well, because I have my real name on. I never
Oh,
really
I
use
gotcha.
YouTube to like chat or whatever, you know.
Gotcha.
Let's see if I could find.
Yeah. DZ, go hunt. Go hunt, DZ. Marvin's mama. Hey. Oh, YouTube has a nickname feature now, Chan says. I.
Ah, let me see if I can change that. Yeah, I never used that, so. I mean, my name is probably out anyway, but you know.
If your name's Marlov, I think people know.
Yeah. Is that on the privacy or no?
Slim Pickings. Who's that? I'm gonna offend some people. Like, dude, we've had DMs for the past year. Is there a link for audio only? Gotta have YouTube, and I am hunting. Well, no. I mean, I think you have to have YouTube up, Ziggy G. G. Oh, Coin Demon. Hey, we have been DMing for a year. It's awesome. Hey there, hunters. Welcome to the Zach and Beats podcast. As you know, I'm Zach. Beats is in Orlando enjoying Disney World. Hopefully, it's not too hot today. It's nice. I checked the weather. So with Beats out, I invited Coin Hunt World Wiki creator Marlov to the show. And Marlov, I know you're really busy with the leaderboard push. But aside from making me run around the city like a chicken with my head cut off, how are you doing?
Hey Zach, how you doing?
Good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm busy too now. Like I'm playing way more than I planned to. Like you're you're putting a lot of pressure on me. Um, I was hoping I would catch up to you today, but I just couldn't get it done. Um, so I probably need some referral support, but it really kind of dried up lately. So you might be safe, but we'll see. I'll try whatever I can. So
Hey, it's not over until it's over.
I know, and it's interesting because
And we've got DZ in the chat telling us he's going to hunt me down. So,
yeah,
yeah.
they may come too now. Well, yeah, because before, for most of the months, he was the Ulster man. I always call him Ulster dude.
Oops.
I think it's Ulster man.
Yeah.
And I knew he dumped a lot of resin in, so I was kind of like, okay, I need a certain amount of red QB prints to catch him. So I was hunting quite a bit and see, hopefully I can catch him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you passed us, both of us, I think the same day. I think like last week or maybe 10 days
Was
ago.
that what it was?
Yeah, you passed me, and I was like, oh my god, okay, now I'm third. I guess that's still fine. I'm top five. And then the next day you passed him as well. I'm like, okay, we're all really close. So then
Yeah.
I kind of knew, okay, I gotta go and push a little harder. I'm using all my green keys and all my blue keys, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. It's uh it's a grind. It's very competitive. It's different too. It's different like I feel a little bit like I've never actually won. I mean, obviously you know because you were here that the Chinese New Year event, I came in first that month because I printed the legendary. And, you know, of course, Manel kind of was a little salty that I already had 400 dragon scales or whatever it was. But, I mean, was I just, you know, I was sitting there and thinking, oh man, I got to print this.
Yeah,
So-
I know. It's
but
hard to look. I have the same too with the refer. I bet there are people who say it's easy for me because of all the referrals that I have. But I still like I the whole month. I basically told myself this month I'll go for it, and I was just hoping for some support from the red QB prints. I
hmm
still like I played a lot. I played a lot more than I play more than I normally would during events, which I normally play a lot during events.
hmm
And now I see you're out hunting me on a day by day basis. So it's not how much you do. But everyone has a different benefit. Like for example, I don't know if you want to tell or you don't have to say it, but you might have access to a cubic crane to put some resin in. I don't know if it. I guess you did it this month when you made that jump like a week ago. But for example, I don't have that access. I have like almost 2 million resin. I could dump all that in and just take first, but I can't put it anywhere. So I think everyone has some different benefits, and you just have to make it work. And I think it makes it interesting too. And I think as long as people can win in different ways, it's fair. Like, and I say that if someone with referrals would win every month, they clearly would have to change it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it will move, and that's why I say too. I gotta try this month and see where it goes. I my target was top five, and
Well,
then no one in the first week, no one in the top 10 was like I didn't know anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. I guess everyone just collects, saves the keys for this month. I'm like, this is even better for me. And then Ulsterman dumped all that resin in there. I was like, okay, now it'll get difficult. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
didn't. Yeah.
I agree with you. It that I didn't know anybody in the beginning either, until you popped up there really high. You were first for a while, right? In the
Yeah,
beginning.
at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So you asked, so I will share. Yes, I drove to Tulsa, I believe. So it was like almost 8 hours on the road. So
oh, okay, wow, yeah.
yeah, I kind of got permission from my kind of. I got permission from my wife. So we originally actually planned to go to Omaha, and I was just going to do two yellow cranes, and we were going to go to the zoo and kind of make a day of it, and then
Yeah.
and visit her. Actually, her sister lives there too, but she backed out because her sister told her that like it was a college. There was a college deal that weekend, and that the zoo was going to be absurdly busy, and so she backed out. And so at that point, I was like, "Well, if you're gonna back out, can I do this instead?" And so that's what I did. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that did not put me. Yeah, I think you mentioned, right away. I ignored your text or your DM, but you
No, it's
mentioned,
okay, and I respect that too. That's why I say, like, I don't expect that people say what they do. No, I mean, you made a big jump, I think, from, I don't, I guess
7 to 3
seven.
or 7 or 8 to
Yeah.
3. Yeah,
So I knew, like, obviously either you had like, like whole family signing up with referrals and had all the red QB prints, or you used resin, that was either one of those.
hmm,
Um, so yeah. And then I kind of knew at that point that you probably will out hunt me. Um, but like I said, I think my if I'm in top five, I'll be happy. I just once I saw I actually have a shot at number one, then I'm competitive too. You try to win,
yeah,
and I will try the last few days as well. It will be hard. It will be hard, but I'll try. At least I want to try. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's very. I especially with we might have to talk about this just for the fun of it, but especially with Ulsterman out of the picture, I it I feel like it would be harder for somebody to pass now. I mean, they would really legitimately have to have access to a crane and to be in a situation like yourself with 2 million resin, or at least 1.5 million based on what we know and what other people have done to even think about having a chance. And then even after that, they probably would have had to hunt and walk,
yeah,
consecutively. So we kind of know that it's I mean, you could probably stop playing for 3 days. I'm not suggesting to, but if you want to, no, you could probably stop and you'd probably still be in the top five. So,
and that's my guess too.
uh,
That's my guess because I know you probably walked all walking quests every day. I did too. I missed 2 days. I didn't. I only went to seven on Father's Day, and then one day I went to Canada's Wonderland, like like this like a roller coaster, like a theme park here in Toronto. And I was like, I only walked 1 hour at night. I'm like, we'll walk the whole day. I will easily get all 8 quests done.
mm-hmm,
The problem is, I have little kids, and we were like
right,
waiting in line most of the time. Like you don't walk actually a lot; you're just standing around a lot.
right.
And at the end, I just couldn't get it done. And so yeah, other than that, I always did all 8, and that's basically what you need. I think if you don't walk every day all 8 quests, you don't really have a shot. That's like 30 times almost 500 points a day, like 15,000 points.
Wait a minute. Did somebody do the breakdown? I think did K Hag do the breakdown of
Yeah, I think he said it's close to 450.
points a day? You mean?
Yeah, if you do all 8. It's not exact, but it's very close around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's not a black box because K Hag proved you can do estimations or whatever, but it's a black box in the sense that We don't know if it's being changed regularly or
Yeah, that's
modified, and then
yeah,
we have a picture of it, but we don't know exactly.
yeah,
And
and
sorry, and I'm pretty sure that's the way Illusion Weaver likes it, right? But
yeah, yeah. That's what I realized too. When I started tracking stuff for the wiki last year, because I like stats too, and that was before Kevin or Kag joined me and helped out. Um, I always try to track all that stuff for like show like how it works, and I realized they don't really want to share it, or they want to be able to adapt. It has to be dynamic, and in the beginning I was a little bit frustrated a bit about it, but I also understand now why there is a need for them to be able to adjust. Like just like I said before, if every month someone wins because of either, well, I don't, filling cubic cranes is probably not possible because at one point you run out of resin. But let's say, yeah, like someone win, like there's some big YouTuber comes in and he has like thousands of like referrals. This guy would win every month. So then clearly we have to change something. Or I guess they would change something.
to be fair, you haven't won yet, though, right? So there's no reason to
No,
change
but
that
I
yet.
know someone else would be big hit. I don't have an I can share it, I guess. Um,
The uh
how
the
many
the chat
how many
is
red cubies do I have? Let me just. Actually, this is the first month I kept track because I knew at one point people probably want to know. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Are you talking about red QB
8.
referrals?
Yeah. So I got this month. I got 8 referrals who printed the red QB, which is a lot of
Wow.
points. That's 4,000 points.
Yeah.
That's why I say like you're obviously like out hunting me like on a daily basis. And
Well,
I
I
got a few
mean,
yellow keys.
we talked about I might be out hunting you, but we talked about I dropped 48 pucks. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I wish I could put some resin in too, but yeah, there's still one in Canada that we can't find, which is really weird because we tend to we're so far we always found those cranes really fast. It's gotta be somewhere remote, or it's gotta be somewhere where there's no access right now. Like
Canada's pretty
we had
big.
that one in my local one here in Hamilton, Ontario. It was like that. It's at the lake at the pier, which is very popular place.
Hmm.
But they had a big construction this summer, and so no one really went there. So it took a while for someone to actually go drive in there and find it, and then you could only access it if you went into the military in a military zone. And then when they found it, people jumped the fence to go and put resin in there, and
Yeah.
so we asked to move it a little bit outside. But yeah, so my guess is it's somewhere where we can't access it. That's or like really remote.
So everybody in the chat, I guess, expects you to look like your custom QB. So
Yeah.
it's good to see you,
So the custom cube is actually from it's
Kevo.
actually from Billy Barker.
Oh, okay.
So he very early on when I started the wiki, he made that for me for free. That was really nice. And we kind of just we did I don't even remember how that came along, but it's like yeah maybe something with like like the university, like I don't even know what it's called, the university hat thing or
Hmm.
whatever, with like a book in the hand, something like that.
Yeah, it's creative.
And then and he went with it and he did that. It was like, oh, that's perfect. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's good.
And that cube is like over a year old now, so
Yeah, yeah. He's obviously talented. So I mean,
he is very talented and
yeah,
he makes a lot of graphics now too. So yeah,
yeah. So is Kevo. So is Kevo. I know you're in the street or you're in the chat. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so. Yeah,
I think Billy doesn't make as many. He might not have as much time, or and yeah, Kevo is doing a lot. You can see it. They look really great.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the first event? I mean, I know there was some um, issues that you know it's the very first time they did an event, but the is it Coco Crater, the Coco Crater volcano, where they got the
Yeah,
Tiki Warrior? What are your
yeah,
thoughts around it? And do you
yeah.
want to go to Hawaii?
So yeah, I I like the idea of location-based like quests,
Hmm.
and I think they always hinted too that they will plan to have resources that are location or weather or time-based, and I was hoping it would be here by now. Um, so I'm glad I understand it's the first one. I'm a little bit disappointed it's in Hawaii, in a sense of it's really hard to access it for most people.
Sure.
And like Hawaii already had the event, they have the annual event already.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally would have, either in the U.S. somewhere, in the U.S. or in Canada, somewhere where people can drive to. But I obviously look forward that they add more, and I really hope they add more of those, like all over, you know, all the countries that you can play Coin Hunt World.
Right.
Um, yeah, I tried to follow it yesterday. I couldn't really pay much attention. I had put my kids to bed, but I was kind of listening a little bit, and I was hoping it would be done when they have to go to bed, and then it just dragged out a bit. And
Yeah.
when I came back, he was like, "Oh, it doesn't work," so I kind of missed that.
Yeah. The same thing happened to me.
Yeah,
I
it's unfortunate.
kids.
It's kind of unfortunate because there were a lot of people who were like watching it live,
Hmm.
or and it was kind of like a, well, like a, yeah.
They should have like a tester QB and I
I
don't know.
know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. Like, like clearly people cheat or like they put their cube in a certain location. I don't know. You would think you can test that, like being there. Not really being. I don't. I know it's hard to say. I don't know. I bet they bet. I hope they tested it before. I mean, that's my guess.
No,
But I don't know when we're
I
wrong.
just meant they could utilize the community and some hardcore players. Obviously, they're not going to buy them tickets to Hawaii, but the community maybe could help test some things. And this is a difficult one because it's not like you. I mean, I'm sure they have a way to test, and they did some testing, but 9 people is a lot to go to Hawaii, and do that. But I'm sure they'll utilize
Well,
this to make the other ones more streamlined and better. So.
yeah. Yeah, can you imagine 9 people would have organized to fly there, spend thousands of dollars to fly there? And
Well,
yeah.
to be fair though, Illusion Weaver is like on the ball, on the clock. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
even when I went to print the architect for the first time, like he immediately got online. I'm sure he's like, he and Renee are probably doing something. He's like, you know, like in the middle of dinner or something, But he drops whatever he's doing, like this is his baby, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
but
I don't know. I try to remember there were some other like kind of hiccups like that before, but over like the last year, I don't want to just make stuff up, but it happened before too, and obviously stuff can happen, but yeah. So like I'm looking forward to it. I obviously was thinking about going there. The first thing I did is looking up like how expensive it is to fly to Hawaii. Um, I'm not saying it's impossible. Like if we would go on vacation anyway with the kids, instead of going like I don't know to Cuba or whatever, let's just go to Hawaii. You know what I mean?
right. No, I'm with you,
And my
but
wife said that you're not going alone,
yeah,
so
talk your wife into that. Yeah.
yeah, I think she would be open in a sense because if I say, look, it takes half a day to go up there and back, and I would just kind of take that half day, I think it would work out. Las Vegas is if that happens in Las Vegas, she said like I can go alone because she has no. We went there like years ago together. She doesn't really have much interest in the city there, um, and so I might go alone there if that happens, you know, to Las Vegas. But yeah, so no, I'm excited about those events because the thing is with those monuments is too you need resource if it's a resource game you need stuff that's not accessible by everyone because then
Right.
that creates like demand
Mm-hmm.
and like you have to trade or maybe that's just me talking because I would like to see that in the game.
No, you're
Because
right.
if everyone has every QB blueprint and they've all the resources then
Cuckoo
there's
Puffs
not
is
much of a
from
demand.
Hawaii, right?
Hmm?
Cuckoo Puffs is from Hawaii, right?
Yeah,
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 he's getting a lot. He's giving a lot of love to Hawaii.
yeah.
I mean, that's okay. If it were my hometown, I would too. I mean, technically, I hate my hometown, but um, never want to go back. No, I don't hate it that much, but I'm not from somewhere cool like Hawaii though. So, but what I mean, I don't know. The Hawaii's had like what they had double vaults and double keys for a long time, and they've had two events and two purples, and now they got the first whatever event, actual event with the Tiki Warriors. Yeah, yeah, I agree with what you said earlier, but um, it's okay. I mean, it's gonna be the longer the game goes on, the more unique stuff that is gonna be in the game and around in Canada and U.S. and elsewhere. But um, I hate to be um, whatever the squeaky wheel or repeat myself every single episode, but along with everything that we're yearning and longing for, like more players and stuff like that, are likely going to come more nerfs and stuff like that. I think everybody's extremely spoiled right now. Marla, if you're gone, your video just turned off. I'm not sure if you're. Oh, it's back. Everybody's really spoiled right now with
Yeah,
like the user vaults with the 10 cents and stuff. So, um, you know, I'm not being a naysayer and whatever, but like just understand if the game is it does blow up overnight because it's possible, and once it gets into so many countries and these countries get out of the whatever the beta phases and people can join, and then it's the likelihood that it blows up, and if iOS opens up, then it becomes more and more likely that it blows up overnight or very quickly. And if that happens, like another nerf has to come. It's like it just does, because it's not like you have endless amounts of money, and so I mean, I'm not being a naysayer. I'm just with growth, changes have to come. But like a better game is going to come, and like the NFT platforms, like you'll benefit a lot from that, Marlov. Like, if we might get less crypto, but I mean, like, aren't you a holder of like three OG blueprints? I mean, like, you'll be able to like. If it comes to OpenSea, you'll be able to throw those up there, and who knows what they'll go for if the game has 4 million people playing.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
just putting it out there that like with growth is going to come benefits, but I mean like less crypto probably from vaults and stuff, more benefits in game, a better game in itself, and then also like the integration of NFTs and stuff will also be another potential way to earn from the play to earn game. So obviously, Cuckoo Puffs and Illusion Weaver have been very generous and stuff, but I'm gonna stop talking because I always do this every episode. So
No, it's okay. It's funny because I I told myself I actually wanted to make a little note beside my screen that I shouldn't complain too much
yeah.
because no, my problem is I really like the game and I want it to succeed. And I think obviously you're in the same boat, You have obviously an interest in it because of the legendary. I have an interest because of the wiki. And to be fair, we both on like a lot of people spend last year or more, or even almost 2 years, a lot of time in that game.
Right.
And a lot of people want to have make sure that the game succeeds. And one of the issues that I had early on was they can't give out money forever. Like, I mean, there's a certain amount that you can, at one point, the revenue has to come in. And what I have a problem is, I don't really see the roadmap. I think that's the one thing that I always say, like, it's weird. Like, I document that game for over a year now, and I can't tell you where they want to go with the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes me a little bit nervous. Sometimes I think, okay, maybe they do it on purpose, but um, it would be good to know where do they actually want to go with it? Because so when you talked about the stuff, so my with the OGs, for example, is a good point. So I had obviously one. I bought one for a green key, back when, and then as soon as the auction house came out, I was like, what stuff will people? What always keeps value or gets more expensive? It's the early stuff. And I tried to get one of the cubies that have no blueprint, but they're almost impossible to buy. So then I went after the OG blueprints because those once in a while, like people threw them on the auction house. So I bought one very early on for like 450 blue keys. Then I bought a third one late, like way later on for maybe 1500. and obviously they already have way more value, and they can, I feel like they only go up because there will always be people who want to have those. That's kind of the reason why I bought more. Um, because in my view, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. And sometimes they say they plan to pay out more, but in my view, the crypto will get lower, and the value will come from the player base valuing the items. Like I don't know if you played. I don't know if you played World of Warcraft. Or like it doesn't matter any other game. It doesn't even matter any other game. You collect stuff. People want to collect it. They put a value on it, and there's always you're probably around maybe you're probably around the same age. Like I'm 39. So I saw those games and I played a lot of those different games. There's always a market for people to buy stuff. There was always supply market. Like there's always and it was never really legal. You know what I mean? Now that's why the play to earn games interest me so much because now all of a sudden it's actually encouraged that you can trade items. That's what I find interesting in it. The problem with that comes there's obviously more people who try to cheat, and we see that more and more.
Right. Yeah. Back to the old.
Because people cheat in games where you can't even make money. So you can imagine it's even worse with games where you actually can make money.
Yeah.
And so so in my view, and I don't like I say there's not really an official roadmap. My guess is that there will be less crypto, but the people, the players will be willing to pay for certain items, either with crypto or with fiat money. It doesn't matter,
Hmm.
or with keys, in the game because they have a value too, which
Right.
already happens.
I mean,
So that's kind of where I think it goes, but I
I
could be
think
wrong.
no. I mean, for the most part, I think you're right. I think that um, as mass adoption comes, they're going to have to pay out less. But um, I do believe that Bill wants to keep payouts as high as they can, and I do believe that he wants to um, have the game big enough to where some active streamers and could like make a either living or part-time living off of the game. I believe he wants that, but um, I think that the partnerships have to come like but even in very non-similar apps you'll see like like if you go eat at a pizza place, they'll give you a couple of dollars back or something like that. Like that, I mean, that could generate revenue for them in a way that they could return that to the players. So I can see small. At least I overall, I think I agree with you. Like if we have 1 million players tomorrow, we can't pay out 10 cents a vault. It's just like he's not Elon Musk, right? So that just they don't have an endless you know pocketbook. So but I do think there are some ways that they could generate revenue in the future if they do have those partnerships that they're seeking, and I think that will come with player growth. So it's kind of a give and take thing, and for the game to be around years from now, like it has to grow. So although like it's in some ways not beneficial for our crypto stack, it's beneficial for the game and its longevity and its playability in the future. And for us to get those cool things in the game, like structures and and things that will make the game more interesting and addicting and fun, like we have to have that growth. So
Yeah,
it's a it's a just what it is, right?
I agree. Yeah. It could be one of like those catch 22s where you need a bigger player base to attract the
Yeah.
money, but and you don't get the player base because there's not as much in the game. Which to be fair, there's a like the game grew a lot over like the last year that I played. I mean, there's a lot of cubies now. Like if you actually look at how like they added a lot of different cubies and people like to collect them even though they don't have a functionality yet, which shows you there is interest. The game is interesting in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there are people that don't even care about making the game more complex. I know I hear sometimes people say like they like it that it's just you solve trivia, you get money. I personally I like always like building and like resource games.
Mm-hmm.
So for me it was always I always dreamed of a game like that that you can play on a real map, like basically almost like a World of Warcraft in the real world, you know, where you get a quest, you gotta go and actually walk there and do stuff, and then like just kind of progress as a character, but like you actually have to walk. And it always looked like that would never work because which gamer actually wants to move around? And then Pokemon Go happened, and all of a sudden, oh wow, like everyone likes to walk around. It's crazy. So I actually, I actually started to make a. So before that might have been before I had kids. Just before I had kids, I started to just trying to make Android apps. So I'm a pro like a electrical engineer, like a programmer, but like
Uh-huh.
industrial stuff. So in my own interest, I wanted to learn how to make apps like games.
Yeah.
So I fiddled around with Unity and tried to make a game. And I did some stuff. And then at one point, I actually tried to make that. I used Google Map, and I added like items to go and collect. So I actually where my headquarters is right now, in the intersection right above, like on the street here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I actually put like items, and I would go and walk there and grab it, and I added like wood. You know what do you add at the beginning? Wood and stone, and
Yeah.
the basic resources.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like it was way too complex, and way it would take way too much time, and I didn't have the experience. But I just kind of played around with that. So I always wanted a game like this. And then I found Conan World, and I was like, wow, like this is like my game.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so like involved in it. And I just tried to like there wasn't much like around, like when you googled, like no one explained the game. I think Blockboy was the only one who streamed like once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and there were like 4 or 5 people in there watching. So I had the idea like to make a wiki, and I always wanted to make one too. And I actually asked Illusion Weaver if he's okay with it. I didn't want to start, and then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Yeah. I remember I was around.
Yeah. And then first he was just kind of like a start guide, and I kind of took the one from Reddit, just to get started, and then it started to add a few more pages,
Yep.
and it kind of grew a little bit. And I try to make it personal too. Fairly early on, I want to make sure we have the user, the like some player information and stuff. And then when and Akura helped a bit too at the beginning because he wanted to make one too, or he planned to do one.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Kevin came in, he kind of convinced me to add more people. Because first I was like, I just want to do it alone. It's easier, you don't have to deal with people.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of grew. And from that point on, it went like crazy.
Yeah.
And it actually allowed me to play more because last year I played way less than I wanted to.
Oh, I
I
bet.
spent most of my time on the wiki and a lot of events. I didn't play as much.
Yeah. Even
And now
user
because of so
input
many
is
people, hmm?
even user input's time consuming. Yeah. I
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's a little bit easier, and I can actually play a bit more too. So it's nice. We can spread it out more.
Right.
And obviously
So
Kevin took the whole thing to another level too.
yeah, Kevin's obviously very talented and motivated too. Um, Sounds like people want to hear some speculation.
Yeah.
I agree with Peregrine. Sorry, is that right? Is the second one I said right? The NFT platform, OpenSea or whatever they choose, will I think that'll spark a lot of interest from people who aren't in this space right now. If it if that opens up and they realize that they can, buy and sell NFTs. Also, like if I guess if somebody sold a really big NFT and it sold for a lot, that would also probably spark a lot of interest too, from people outside the game. But didn't Illusion Weaver say, the chat might know, didn't Illusion Weaver say that the first structure is going to be a bank? Or did I heard that through
Yeah.
the grapevine? So
Yeah.
was that
Well,
in this
first he was. I think they always mentioned the
the fountain?
fountain,
Yeah.
and the bank was kind of like in the talks too. And I think not like last week or 2 weeks ago, they kind of said they'll do the bank first, so the players like in the UK or El Salvador who can't get the money out yet, so at least they can stake the crypto, and I guess you get more keys. That's my guess. And that's the reason too why I didn't unlock it either. I still have all my crypto in the game.
Yeah, I'm very interested to know how much you have, Marlo.
I'll tell you. I don't
Oh
have.
yeah. All right,
There's
everybody,
people like
you're
way
getting
more.
the DL here. You're getting the inside information.
Well, there's a lot of people have more because they played a lot more like last
Yeah,
year.
sure.
But
Who isn't it? VW Rules chick. She has never unlocked, and what is that event? She hunted like the most vaults and didn't get the epic blueprint, but you know, come this time when she has a bank structure, she'll be laughing at everybody else.
oh yeah, she has a lot too, and she constantly plays a lot too. So
I assume that my
I,
assumption
I
you broke up there for a second. I don't Your video is gone and your voice is gone. So I'm gonna make some speculation without you by myself. Oh wait, you're back. All right, will you speak?
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I heard you. It's fine. So
Okay.
like I have 0.042 BTC and 0.63 ETH.
Six three
I
point six three ETH and 4% of a Bitcoin.
yeah,
That's a lot. That's good. Oh.
yeah. It really started to add up lately too because you get more, and especially this
Yeah.
month. So
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like I crossed half an ETH, and now I'm already at like six,
you want to hear the
0.6.
typical SPAC. I'm calling myself SPAC. That's how you can tell I started drinking. You want to hear the typical Zach speculation. Um, Peregrine, yes, got it. That I assume, like I believe that Cuckoo Puffs is buying Bitcoin now, if as he can, because the price is so low, and also because they're having to pay out so much because it's tied to 10 cents. But I also assume that they have that treasury, that they had when they started the game, and was like, this needs to last, as we pay out, and they have a burn rate that they want to go through. That's that
Yeah,
Zach speculation, whatever.
yeah,
But
and that's interesting. No, sorry.
go ahead.
No, I heard you to talk about that quite a bit, and I think just after that, I think like actually Cuckoo Puffs came out that they buy it every day.
Yeah,
So their treasury is in US dollars. So it doesn't really matter where crypto is going. Like obviously they have a certain amount they want to spend, but I think their their budget is in US dollars,
yeah.
you know.
I I hear you. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he gave the fine granular details of everything, but I did hear him say or saw him say that he buys daily or whatever. So and I believe that, but I didn't see the part where he said his treasuries in USD. Um,
Although that's my guess because
oh,
if
okay.
he buys daily, then he probably that's just speculation on my side. But my guess is like
You're talking to two, like, what I would call Bitcoin Bitcoin Ethereum bulls, So, I don't know, it would be, I mean, if I were them, I would have held BTC instead of US dollars. But, that came to my point that I said earlier in another episode that, like, we didn't expect this downturn to whatever as low as it got,
yeah,
$17,000 a Bitcoin, or obviously it's jumped from there, but got down really low for a while. So I don't know. I don't know. I want to move on because I'm sure they don't like us jabbering about finances, um, but I mean, we all want it to be successful. So, but from a end user perspective, while we can, especially with bank structure coming, I'm loving the almost 500 Sats user vault, and then whatever 86 to
it's almost
100,000 Gwei.
100K. Yeah,
Yeah, almost.
100K
Yeah,
Gwei.
yeah. For a while there, yeah, it was
Yeah,
that was crazy getting over 100K Gwei. Yeah, especially because like when they were giving out earlier, I don't know when you started or when they stopped giving out 20 cents. The vaults that are 2 cents now. Earlier when there weren't any players, they were 20 cents, and they just it wasn't. I don't remember it being 100,000 Gwei, but the readout of the like it was a decimal place before, I think. So now they say it in Gwei, but before it was ETH, so it was harder to read because it would be like point
I
zero zero
know.
zero zero, and then it would like
Yeah,
fade away, and they're like, oh, how much was it? But yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I wasn't there when it was still 20 cents. Because I guess you started playing earlier in the US, but yeah, I remember when they had the decimal point when it showed it in BTC or ETH. And the problem is too, like sometimes like if they didn't fill it up with zeros at the end. So like sometimes it actually looked like it was less, you know. So if you did, and it was hard to count all the zeros. So sometimes people felt like they got less because the number looked smaller. So I think that's the reason why they changed it too. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then for a while there, if it was like if it ended in a zero, it would just not put the zero on the end, and
Exactly.
people
Yeah,
would think they got less. Yeah, is that
yeah,
yeah,
and it looked the number looked smaller, you know. Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
yeah, I think that was a good change. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. But I mean, probably confusing at first, but a lot of people that could jump in and start playing aren't super familiar with crypto anyway. I mean, I guess I'm assuming that I don't actually know, but I assume even somebody who thinks they're familiar with crypto and jumps in might not know what Gwei is. They might just Ethereum,
I
ETH
know.
associate that make that association. So I thought at first that it might be confusing, but I agree with you that it's probably the best change, and it also is a way to educate people too, start a conversation.
Yeah. It would
Yeah.
be nice if they explained it in the game. I think that would be one of those things where when you start as a new player, it would be nice that they explain. Look, you get BTC and like or like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then like the two like biggest cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
And you when you get paid out, it's in fractions, and they're called Satoshi and like way, so they would know because like you have a very good point. So people say, oh, you get Bitcoin and ETH, and then you start playing and you get something else, and people are like, what is this? It's a very good point. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
it's hard for me because I didn't start to play the game because of the crypto.
Mm.
I started to play the game because of like the game, and then I kind of got into the crypto because of
That
it. Yeah,
trivia
so
or I mean, you say game, but the game was small. I want to say small in the beginning, so I was. That makes me wonder if you were after like the trivia aspect or what.
well, I like the trivia part too. I always like trivia. And but no, for me it was like the geolocation game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I played a little bit of Ingress. I never really got into it much.
Mm-hmm.
I played
Same.
Pokemon
Same.
Go when it came out the first summer. It was crazy,
Same.
and I stopped because it was not deep enough. Like it was just like I felt like there's so much potential what you can
Yeah.
do.
Well, but think about what you just said though. Um, it wasn't deep enough at first, and I feel like that might be the impression or the sense that a lot of players get when they jump into this game. And that's what I thought too when I started playing Pokemon Go. I mean, I was never even into Pokemon, but I loved, or I don't want to say loved, but I liked the game. I thought it was enjoyable and fun to walk around and catch Pokemon. But that when they released it initially, that was all there was. And now I hear all this. I've never played again after I don't know several months, but now there's all this chatter about how cool the game is, and there's walking for whatever benefits, and I didn't even know about this stuff because I moved on. But I mean, I love play to earn games, and then I love crypto, so uh, especially the Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that definitely attracted me to the game. I remember one of my first comments in the Discord that somebody looked up and showed me was like I don't know, it was from like December of 2019 or I don't or whatever the end of their first year in December.
Yeah.
I said like, does this game really give out free crypto or real crypto? And I don't know if it was Squeamy or somebody responded to me and said yes, it's real, Illusion Weaver or something like that. So yeah, like that. I mean, the trivia is something that is growing on me. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like, oh, I have to go out answer trivia. Beats that's when I talk to Beats about it, he acts like I just hate trivia. But I mean, I wasn't on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but I enjoy the game. I like the trivia. So, I mean, I'm probably average at best at it, but like,
Well,
I still like
I
it.
wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you, do you get a lot of perfect? Like how much percent do you get perfect on like blue and green?
Those stats would probably have to come from Illusion Weaver, but like, well, first off, I probably don't. I don't. The last change really hurt me, from a perfect great perspective. Um, I want to say like so I live like so there's Kansas City, then there's North Kansas City, and then there's like above North Kansas City is what Kansas Cityans, I want to say, call the Northland. So it's like above North Kansas City. It's kind of where I live, and then there's a suburb called Liberty that's east of that. It's kind of Rudy lives in Liberty, and that's where a lot of our vaults are. And so I travel over there, and most of the time, I mean, I can go hunt like where Loop De Luke and Debit Me and other players are, but they're like in the Kansas side of Kansas City. So like, I mean, that's like a 40-minute drive. So there and back, I'm at an hour and a half or 2 hours if I hunt, or 3 hours if I hunt. So like, I don't really do that. So like most of the time. So I'm around Liberty anyway, and I get really spotty signal there. So it's not abnormal for me to get like four greats in a row, or sometimes even a good. And I'm like, on those questions where it's like, what color? What's the color of the inside of a watermelon? I'm like, red. It's red. It's red. And I get a good, but it's just because like the
Yeah.
signal there. It's funny because like at night I'll get like much better signal, so I guess that's more reason for me to hunt at night, I guess. But like if I'm out there during the day, and it's just get lots good, so, and greats. And so for me it like depends. Like I know where I'm gonna get perfects most of the time, and then I know where I'm gonna get a higher chance of getting greats, and then the time of the day. I mean, again, I think I've said before, I'm a cheapskate, a penny pitcher. So I'm on Mint Mobile, which is like I don't know if it's owned by Ryan Reynolds. I mean, you've probably seen advertisements online, but it's like they use the service of what was formerly Sprint and T-Mobile, um, and now T-Mobile. So I assume other people get service first, but I've also seen Rudy out there, and I believe he's on AT&T, and he gets kind of I mean, his service is better than me, but I've also seen him like hold questions down and then also get greats. So I think it's more of like a region area and like towers.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I know I'm rambling and it's probably not interesting to people, so I'm going to shut up about that, but I was trying to answer your question. But I will also say that that I the new trivia that Renee's added sometimes stumps me, and sometimes it's like I'll get like music, art, and
Books.
books. Yeah, and art is
Yeah.
growing on me. I'll be honest, art is growing on me because Beats and somebody else. I don't know if it was Marvin's Mama or Corkio or Beats, but when I was on that podcast, like they were like, just like, art is so easy. Like it's just like look at the picture, and like 75% of the time or 80% of the time you just look at the picture and it's like ugly troll. And then like
Yeah.
and it's the name of the picture is like troll or something like that. All right. So like the art is growing on me because of that. So yeah, but I will say, like when I get those questions, then I'm like, oh crap. And then I'm like, am I gonna close the app and then Google it and then try to get it right? But um, that reminds me of something. When I went down there, I told you already, since I spilled the beans about me going to um, Oklahoma to drop some resin. I noticed when I was out there, and I don't know if it was like the difference of cell phone provider, but like around that yellow vault, not the one I filled, but there's two there. I was going around that yellow vault, and I would every time I would I would look at Discord or open up a different app, I would come back to Coin Hunt World, and the game would have to load all over again every single time. Like I mean, repeatedly. And for their keys for walking, that was very annoying. Because I'd be walking and I wouldn't get steps. But I don't know. I just thought of that while I was out there. But so I don't know why I mentioned that, but that had me on there. Sorry. I said I was gonna stop rambling, and here I go rambling. So
Well,
and
I get that sometimes too. I didn't for a long time. I didn't have any problems. I just switch off Wi-Fi when I go out, and it seems to really help. But lately, sometimes I get some holes too where the app either restarts or like it kind of lags a little bit, but it's not often. But no, my thing with perfect is I I always felt like I'm a really fast reader.
mm-hmm.
But since that change, I have a very hard time to get like I really have to like see the first few words and know where to press. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
a lot of the newer questions, which are way better, but they also like there's just more words. So
Yeah.
you got to read it until you read it and actually look at the answers. I feel like it's almost I have a very hard time to get perfect. And it kind of hurt. Like before, I didn't care as much because for me the crypto was like whatever. But now
Mm-hmm.
the leaderboard points hurt, because I realize every grade is only like 70% of a perfect. So it's if I would get perfect every time, I would have to hunt a lot less.
Yeah.
And that kind of hurt, especially with the greens, because I don't solve greens because I rather
Yeah.
spend the keys in the auction house.
Yes.
So
I
now I
mean,
use the
my
greens.
entire first year. That was my entire first year. And then you ask things, or you say things like, "Oh, you must be hunting hard." Like for the entire first year, like I didn't solve a green, but yeah, I am doing greens now, obviously. So.
You kind of have to, like, and especially I think they added, like, you get a little bit of a bonus too.
Hmm.
I think you get like 20% more points. So, like,
The
if you get a
leaderboard
perfect
points you're talking
green,
about.
yeah, leaderboard
Yeah.
points. So you get a little bit more, and it adds up, and so I solve for every green now that I see. I get a lot of them wrong, but a lot. Like, I get more, obviously more wrong in green than blue, and it's also hard to get a perfect, and it just kind of hurts. It's for the points mostly.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Crypto nerd, and with he's agreeing with what we said. The dynamic nerf hurts. Um, Even more so the timer, but you know, it is what it is. So, and like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like a
Would you rather have long? See, I was thinking about that because it kind of started. Would you rather have a longer time, but the max payout is a little bit less? Like I personally would rather have a little bit more time.
well, you know what would Illusion Weaver would say to that? He would say, what's that mode called that I don't ever use? Casual or what's it called, guys? That mode. I mean the chat is delayed, so
Chill mode.
yes, chill mode. Yeah, he's gonna say
Yeah,
chill mode when you say that. Are you
yeah,
saying you would
yeah.
rather have like perfects be 7 cents and have more time, kind of thing?
Well, if it's 7 cents, then it doesn't matter because you tend to get like if you're not super fast, you tend to get great. Like if you know the answer, you get great.
No,
But
I'm saying like perfects be 7 cents, greats be 5 cents, and goods be 2.5 or whatever. Are you saying that you'd rather have more time and have the
yeah,
reward be less, or even 9 cents? Like you
yeah.
could,
No, I would say yeah. The max is instead of 10 cents, it would be 9, but you have like half a second more. Or just like
yeah. I will
it's more.
say, yeah. It's that half a second where it feels like I come on. I knew that. I was reading it and I was saying the answer out loud, and I selected it. I still got it look great. Like, come on. So yeah, I think you're right there. I
Yeah,
feel it too. But I've said that too. But I mean, to you know, that that it's ultimately it's not our choice. I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. I said something on the last podcast similar to that, I think. But ultimately, it's not our decision. But like I said earlier, like
yeah,
I believe more nerfs are coming. Yeah, it was kind of too easy before. I don't know if, but at the same time, they're trying to save crypto. So like that's what I meant when I said last week when I was like, find another way to save on crypto, and obviously they did that because the nerf came out like a day later. Um, and but
that's
but
your
they're gonna
fault.
have yeah they're gonna have to find more ways, and obviously they're doing that if we have players like I don't know, hashtag where's Ulsterman. Like somebody's got to give me the details because I don't. I'm just playing hunting along and I'm like looking at 1, 2, 3. Or I pass 3. I'm like going. Hey, where'd number 3 go? Like
Yeah,
I just
but
gone
that's
right.
actually interesting that you say that because so obviously I tried to catch him. He told me he put 1.2. Well, first it was 700,000. Then at one point he said it was 1.2 million resin that he dumped in.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing my calculation, how many red cubies do I need to catch up to him? I also knew from how much he hunted. Like I was able to out hunt him. You know, I would get more points playing the
Mm-hmm.
game, but
Right.
I know like you'd get more points than me. Um, so I knew I could get him at the end of the month. And then when you passed him, I was actually surprised how close we both, or how close I was to him. And then he's not very active in Discord because I searched his name to see like where he hunts. I had no clue. I never heard his name before, so he didn't chat that much on Discord. And then all of a sudden I couldn't find him anymore. And when people get banned, they get kicked from Discord too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, he might have gone
When was
his name
that?
might have been
Out of
banned.
curiosity,
Huh?
when did that happen?
Just a few days ago.
Okay. I thought I saw
Yeah.
him on the leaderboards like yesterday or the day before. But I mean, I'm
No,
sure.
he got removed. I think someone said today he got removed today on the leaderboard.
Okay.
It had to be today,
You know,
but I think he was gone on the Discord like a lot earlier.
if yeah, if I'm honest, Rudy was the first person who told me. He's like, because he was watching where he was at, and he moved up a spot, and was like, "Oh, who did I pass?" And he didn't pass anybody, you know. So it's like,
Yeah,
what's going on? Yeah, so that's funny, or not really funny, but yeah. So I don't know what he did. Um, when
yeah.
did
I
you?
don't know what he did either, but it's interesting because so when that happened, I was thinking like, okay, I started to realize, wait a minute, so I knew he's playing in Northern Ireland, and I never really thought about it. I'm like, oh, he dumped 1.2 million resin in there, and there were two cranes in Belfast. Okay, that's fine. But if you actually think about it, like if you didn't, when did they start playing there? No, November? No, wait. Yeah, November last year. When did the UK open?
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean,
Maybe someone knows, but I
yeah,
think it was like,
when did the UK open?
yeah. So it's
Black
not
Boy
that
got
long
robbed.
ago.
That's all I
It's half a
remember.
year. It's half a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, that's a lot of resin for someone playing for half a year. Now I guess you could buy it too and stuff, but I don't know. My guess is he probably had either like key transfers or like more accounts or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they made it pretty clear on the key transfers that you could, you got one warning and then it was out. You're out. I mean, I don't know if that's changed or not, but like,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure if he's GPS spoofing that he's going to be gone immediately. I mean, they're not going to tell us details. They probably don't like
that
us
could be
talking
too,
about
but
it, but I mean, still, when he's competing with you and you're like playing with them, and you're like, you see his DM, you're DMing him, and you see like you're talking to him, and you see what he does. He says what he does. He says he's a runner. I mean, historically I was running, but if he's a runner, he's probably running circles around me. But like, I'm walking every day, so I'm just like interested in what this guy's doing. Like you said, he said he dropped 1.2 million resin, and like, so I'm like in this competition with him, and they just gone. So I'm like, what? Where'd he go? So. Yeah.
yeah.
So crypto Markham, or I'm sorry, Carter Markham, Beats would be laughing hysterically if he were here with me, and telling me I can't read and that I'm illiterate. And then when he listens to this, he'll be laughing hysterically. But Carter says, when did you guys join Coin Hunt World? So I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I
Well,
started playing beginning of May last year because yeah, something like that. Yeah,
mhm,
beginning of May, and I at the beginning I don't think there was anyone around here. There were no user vaults, so I solved the system vaults, a bunch of them.
mhm,
I think that was actually when the Hawaii event was going on, or at least it happened fairly shortly after that because I got the hula blueprint, and I had no clue what was going on at that point. So I just kind of got it. I didn't know what's going on.
mhm,
And but I remember, so to build the first user vault, it took a long time because I would just walk. When I do it now, I just have more user vaults now. But
mhm.
I have a loop that I can walk here maybe 40 minutes,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
How many user roles is that there?
No, it's probably around 30.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's not bad, when I can do this. But so back then it was like just a few system vaults and it would take forever to get 10,000 resin. And that was before the auction house was out too. so
Yeah.
you couldn't buy resin either.
Yeah.
But I once you get the first user vaults, like it really snowballs,
Yeah, it
and
does. You get those those resource boxes a lot more often, right?
then happy hour. I don't think, yeah, happy hour wasn't there either. So now you can get a lot of paint as well. That didn't happen before either. So there's a lot of changes that happened since then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I can feel for the people who are more remote. Like I think a lot of people have access to a big city or like a big pile of user vaults, and you have a bit different game than someone who's playing more remotely and like it just has a few blue vaults and before a few keys. Now at least you can get the keys with walking. But yeah,
Right.
it's hard. Like, and
Yeah.
people say, yeah, you got to build up your own user vaults, which is true, but it also takes time. And the problem is, if you have no resin, it takes a long time to build 10 user
It
vaults. But
does. It
once you have
does.
them, it's fine, and you don't need that much because during non-events and except this month, I would just do my loop here, and I would literally just solve the 30 volts. Sometimes I might double dip it, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It took a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it. I can't. I'm agreeing with you, but like I don't have that experience because I had a crap load of resin when user vaults came out. So yeah, I
Yeah,
understand what you're saying.
you played before. You played before. You already and that's the thing too. So that the play, and that's kind of the problem too. Now, there are people who play for so long. They have so many resources.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I'm kind of that unique situation where I I you know, I went and I looked at Block Boy's trophy case. I was looking through there. I was like, I don't have that one. 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 And most of them, not all of them, but most of them are because um, I sold off my stuff.
yeah,
Not all of them. I obviously could buy stuff back, but the this we kind of like live in the keys are like fiat. Let's be honest, guys. Keys are fiat. Our fiat are keys, and keys inflate. And when you that's why you need to buy up everything now because
yeah.
your assets are going to be worth more in the future. So I, I mean,
I
I'm
agree.
joking, but I'm serious too. So
No, I agree though. It's true though because if you believe that the game obviously will get bigger, you want to have like rare items. The rarer the item is, the better, and it will
yeah,
it will it will just increase in value because yeah, you have like the turkey from like the year before. There was not even a blueprint,
yeah. You know what's
so
funny about that
it won't get
turkey?
cheaper.
Right. What's funny about that turkey is Carter asked when we started, and I downloaded the game initially, and I said this in one of my early podcasts with Beats, but I downloaded the game and I didn't play it because when you open the app, to be honest with you, like this kind of goes along with what you said. There's no tutorial for the user or all that, but again, my response to that, I want to say my supportive response to that is like they have a limited budget, need to focus on what they want the game to be. And so like if they do they want the game to be a tutorial of how to play this half-baked game, or do they want to build out the game first? And I think that's kind of where they're at. But to your point, I opened the game, I was a blue figure, didn't know what it was. I live in suburbia, okay, so there's nothing around me. I
Yeah,
spun around and I was like, there's nothing here. There were less tabs, there's less going on. The UI is very, very minimal. There's like two tabs, with one with my QB on it, and another tab, and it's got an Ethereum and a Bitcoin symbol that obviously sparked my interest, but like both of them are zero. There's nothing here. I'm searching online. I can't find anything about the game. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think this is even legit. There's nothing to do. There's nothing around me. And so I
yeah,
closed the app. I'm pretty sure I uninstalled it or removed it from my phone because that's just like the guy I am. I do that. I like to keep my phone apps I don't use, try to keep them off. And then I don't know what it was, but later, uh, sometime in December of whatever their first year, already forgetting, was that 2020? I keep confusing, but I reinstalled the app, and it was close to Christmas because I also remember I was playing this game called Roller Coin. Don't if I'm honest with you, I don't really recommend it. So you can talk to Absalom. It's basically a big time waster, but you just click buttons and you get very, 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 very small amounts of Bitcoin and stuff for it. Anyways, I just remember around that time what I was doing, and so I had downloaded the Coin World, and I also remember apparently I may have found the game on Reddit because around Thanksgiving I remember getting a pop up on my phone about logging in and getting 5,000 sats and a turkey QB. And I was like, 5,000 sats, that's cool. I was like, turkey, what? Anyways, so yeah, now that like that memory is like ingrained in my head of like this Reddit pop up where I'm like, why? But I actually started playing, I think, a few days, like actually, open the game and open the game and open the vault a few days into January. So,
Yeah.
and then like from January to I want to say like June, like I was all alone in the Discord saying Squeamy had all their referrals at that point because there was no Marlov, and I was just saying, Squeamy, I need some players in Kansas City, help. Squeamy, need referrals. It's just like I don't know what he does. If he got shadow banned from like so many Discords and Reddits or whatever, but he got a crap ton
Yeah.
of referrals before he did it. But anyway, so yeah, that was kind of my introduction to the game. I guess it's a glass half empty perspective, but I'm really, really, really happy that I made it when I did, and actually, I'm happy I made it before Marlov too. So, just joking.
I think a lot of people, when you look at it, actually, you listen to all those podcasts, from you, like, an IT guy, and like, now Ladies of the Hunt were coming too. Um, a lot of players started around spring last year. That's when I started too,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it stands out to me,
Yeah.
but I feel like there was, and maybe it was from Squeamy or someone on Reddit. I think most came from Reddit at that point. I think there was a big thing in Reddit about the game, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people started playing, and they kind of just kept playing,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's what it takes. It needs a bit of, I don't want to say viral, but like it needs some traction, and then a lot of,
Yeah.
like you say,
Yeah.
it needs one moment, and all of a sudden a lot of people start playing, and then they will
Right.
have to like change the payouts. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know from the wiki, from the stats, that last year there was a laptop magazine, or I never heard of it before, but there's a website, Laptop Mag or Laptop Magazine, and they were talking about the best crypto games, and they say Coin on the World is the best or the second best or whatever. And there was a link to the wiki in there, and that's probably why we got so many referrals. That a lot of them
Yeah.
came from there. And
Yeah.
over 3 months, like I would get like hundreds of visitors to the wiki just for that
Hundreds.
article alone.
Dang. Yeah. It's awesome.
So this kind of, and that was back then where there wasn't as many players. This kind of creates the, like, people read about the game on Reddit or on some blog,
Mm-hmm. I
play
told you.
to earn
I,
website.
I told you for a long time that I thought you should slot out, like sell out a certain percentage of the start guide referral page. Like people want their referral listed, that you should sell out like a percentage of them. I don't think you ever did
I
anything
know.
with
I was,
it,
I was
but
thinking about it, and Kevin said the same too. We could do that, where, because the problem
you
is,
might not
I
be
think a lot of
starting your
people
job
agree
if you'd
with
have done
me.
that.
A lot of people agree that the problem with, when you try to refer people to the game, you have to either be able to explain to them how it works so they can get going, or they have like a start guide.
That's what
And
the
I
wiki
saw
does, though,
some
right?
people, they print out the poster and they actually
Right.
write some steps.
Yeah.
And so the idea was, yeah, so people could share the start guide link, but then they would get the referral, like you would, there's some cookie or whatever in the background, and they would get the referral, something like that, yeah. But but maybe back to when you say, when you started playing, there was nothing on the map. That's something that for me too is where, getting back to a tutorial or whatever, like when someone starts playing the game, and a lot of people, when do you install a game, a mobile app at home?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in North America, they live in suburbs. There's nothing there.
Right.
So when you start the game, there should be some temporary like points of interest.
Yeah.
So hey, go to that vault, solve it, you solve trivia, hey, you get some money, and like kind of like just explain the game, and then say,
Yeah.
hey, those are just here for to start. They're gone now. Now you got to find the real ones, and go and find them.
Yeah.
Because like you say, the problem is you open an app and there's nothing on the map or the game, there's nothing there. A
Yeah.
lot of people just kind of lose interest, you
I,
know.
I mean, you're kind of reiterating what I said in that when I joined, there was nothing there. I spun around and closed the game and thought it was a scam and uninstalled it. So I hear you. I agree with you. You're preaching to the choir. I'm just, trying to give that perspective of like they have limited funds and they can alienate their community and hire more developers and pay out less crypto, or they can keep building as they are and try to, build upon the game they have, or they can stop what they're doing, make a tutorial that might take 2 or 3 months, and then have that tutorial and then go back to building the game. And then that tutorial a year from now might be obsolete again. So
Guys, yeah,
they just, I don't know, they have, I mean, I trust, I'm wanting to trust that they know what they're doing. So I'm just, I mean, in a sense, like you're the most supportive person they have because you've made the wiki, or you've started the wiki and then, you know, built a community around the wiki. So,
yeah,
so you're there, like we've got the same mindset. We both want to be supportive players. And mostly I think we're just concerned about the game, right? And its longevity, and we want it to grow and be successful. So I agree
yeah.
with you though.
No, I
Space.
understand too. It's a good point too. Like, if the game if you know that the game changes a lot in the next half year, I completely agree with you. There's no point making a tutorial because then you gotta change everything, you
Yeah.
know. But like that's coming back to the roadmap.
Right.
We don't know,
Well,
you
I
know.
mean, to be fair though, I mean, well, I guess to be fair, you're right. They don't really give a roadmap. A lot of companies have like a year-long roadmap, and they'll give that. Um, our roadmap comes in bits and pieces of speculative stuff in the Discord. But a lot of times I feel like they don't tell us because they aren't sure or because stuff will change. And I say that because at one time, Illusion Weaver had said like, "Oh, this is coming next, this is coming next, and this is coming next." And then I think there was a crash in crypto, and they started paying out a whole bunch more than they thought for keys for walking. And then they said, "Well, what's next is the battle pass." You know what I mean? So, and then after that, we're going back to. So I think like they just are being versatile with what gets thrown at them. And what got thrown at them in this case was like, a crypto crash and having to pay out a shit ton of crypto. I mean, I'm speculative because that goes back to like the treasury and how does it exist and what form and all that. But like, yeah, I still agree with you, but that a roadmap would be nice. But I'm still saying that they try in some sense. It's not formal though. It's just like, if are you watching the Discord?
No, I know, and that's the thing too. Like you have to read the Discord like all the time to stay up to date. And this is the first month I don't really keep up anymore because I'm just too busy with the walking and
Yeah.
getting more vaults
That
and
that is true. The walking makes the game. I shared my app time, and it was ridiculous. I mean, some of that I'm sure is like I left my phone open with the game on, but a lot of that too is still like 3 hours of walking for me a day. So that's if I do that 7 days a week, that's 21 hours.
I
So
know.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, that's not a complaint because I asked for that for whatever I guess over a year or whatever. So like, and again, some IT guy and was it Hoth mentioned that, or was that who he had last? Hoth, was it you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
IT guy and Hoth were talking about like, oh yeah, that was our plan from the beginning. And while I agree with it, I don't know if it was explicitly keys for walking or how it was worded or whatever, but it was a game where you're rewarded for exercising or whatever. But that was their plan. But still, after a year of asking for it and asking for it, happened. So I'm not complaining about it, but the end result of that is there's less time to, like you say, for other things. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, but so it's like a, I don't know. it's not a double-edged sword, but it's a good and a bad, like a yin and a yang, I guess. Like,
Yeah. But
but
to be fair too. So I agree. I like the walking too. I lost quite a bit of weight too, so I like that.
nice. How
Um,
much?
well, I think in kilograms. I don't know what's in pounds, but I went
Oh,
from around 90 to I'm under 82 now. So I lost 10%. You know,
10 kilograms.
yeah, eight. What is that? 16
That's
pounds? I don't know.
whoa. It says that's 22 pounds, man. You and
Yeah.
Corkio, man, you guys are like. That's how I know. Like, when I was talking to Beats about the walking, I was like, "Yeah, you can't outrun your fork." He's like, "What? What?" Didn't know what I was talking about, but like, I have a bad diet. Like, I eat like crap and I eat constantly, and then I lack sleep, and so then my cortisol's high, and I'm eating crap, and then so then I
Like
walk and
the
yeah,
sleep is a problem. Yeah.
yeah. And then when I wake up in the middle of the night and my wife's like, "Oh, go let the dogs out or get our daughter a milk or whatever," then I'm like, "Oh, there's cereal down here, like carbs." So like, yeah, it's been. I mean, I'm still down even through all my poor diet and stuff. I think I started at 185, and I'm at 180 and a half. So it's been like 65 days or whatever of keys for walking, or I don't know. One of my apps says I have a 65-day streak of like so many steps, so it's my assumption of where it's at. So yeah, but I haven't lost 22 pounds. Damn. You should like get a reward for that, Marlov. Your reward is being healthier though.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I
Should have
had like
a
like
weight
I have
loss QB with like a one of those measurement bands around the waist, and the waist gets really
yeah.
skinny. You should have one of those.
Well, you
They
could
should
you could
reward that
start really
after.
fast, and then
What's
the more
that?
you walk, you get skinnier.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, technically walking doesn't make you skinny, so they could like sync with like some scale app, and if like I don't that wouldn't really be fair for people who are already fit. They should just get this that's the
Yeah.
QB. So I don't know how they would do that, but that would be funny though if that QB existed. But yeah, they could do it
Yeah.
for like walking. Yeah.
It would be nice though to get a QB for walking. I think
No, yeah, yeah.
someone had the idea if you do all the 8 walking quests for a whole month, like you would get like some like walker QB, with like a sweatband and stuff. And that would be kind of neat. It is hard to do though. I think when I'm done with this month, I like the walking. It for me honestly, the walking is not the problem, and I walk really fast. Um, but it's just a time commitment. It's a lot of
Yeah,
time,
it
every
is.
day. So I tend to do an hour
Do you get
at
the
night when everyone
whip cracking
sleeps.
from your wife?
Yeah. So yeah. So I think after this month, I'll probably do like maybe an hour, a day or so, or whatever. It's hard to keep it up in a sense of the time
Hmm.
commitment.
Yeah, it is. But dude, you're
And
healthier
but to
for
be
it,
fair,
right?
like Illusion Weaver also
22
said though.
pounds. 22 pounds. And you want to
Yeah,
quit.
okay, but look, no, I had to remove my thyroid.
Okay.
I had like a hyperthyroidism. Yeah, like where you like sweat like crazy and
Uh-huh.
like you're very skinny, and the heartbeat is too high. So they had to remove it. And then you're hypo, which then means like it doesn't matter what you do, you gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained 50% of my weight in like a month. Like
Whoa.
I went from 66 or whatever kilogram to like over 90, 95
Wow.
kilogram.
When was that? Was
Like a
that
few years ago.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a few years ago. And then you try to start to eat properly, because I would just eat crap and it wouldn't
Right.
matter. I would never gain weight. And
Right.
then obviously like I gained a lot. So I started to change my diet a bit. But now with going on to our last year when I started walking, I lost quite a bit of weight last year. And then, like in elemental innovation, I started to drive to get more resources. And then from this point on, I would mostly drive. So I'm really glad that now it's better to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
When I started playing, I would walk I wouldn't drive. I would just walk.
That's awesome. I mean,
And
that's
now
what the game was meant to do. So, I mean, Keys for Walking is amazing, and I'm the huge fan of it. But like, I still would like to see. IT guy said something similar. Like, I would still like to see more benefits for walking, even if it's like during an event when they're not giving out crypto. If it's like 10% extra resources, if you're nimble
yeah,
walking, something like that, anything
I
like that,
know.
because like you can hit. way more vaults if you're driving. And the point isn't to drive, right? I mean, it is to explore, so driving could be considered exploring, but still, I mean, like I would eventually like to see like the game not be quite as predictable, in like that, like I don't know how they would implement it, but like vaults don't always respawn in the same spots. Maybe there are
Yeah,
spots, there are like spawn spots where they can spawn, but like just because it was there yesterday doesn't mean it's gonna be there today. I mean, they kind of have that with green vaults, and that like you know it's every other day, but that's not what I mean. I just mean like you know like just like some more randomness to the game, if you will. But and they might have that in the future, you know, just but like
yeah.
yeah, uh,
Well, it happened already though. With the monuments. I think that I was hoping that would happen a little bit more. I really like the monuments because that really started to get people to go to usable or like locations where you normally wouldn't go.
hmm
And
yeah.
and the problem there was so like they would say, oh, you have to walk. No, wait, that wasn't that. Yeah, that was the one where you had to walk to spawn them, wasn't it?
Yeah, to spawn them, you had to be nimble walking. You're talking about
You had to
Halloween, yeah.
walk. Then the problem is, so you walk, you spawn the monument,
The
but then it would be away
cauldron.
like 1 mile or 1.5 or 2 miles away,
Oh,
and it would take forever to walk there. So you kind of had to like drive.
yeah.
And I think with
Wait,
the idea, like you said, I agree with that. Like, and that's why I say I'm looking forward to all like some sort of a quest where you have to find stuff and you
yeah.
have like almost like a body quest, but like more unpredictable,
hmm
where you actually have to go and explore.
I
That
think
would be really cool.
yeah, I think the quest lines integrated with something similar to what Halloween went on would attract a lot of people to the event. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Marlov. We have Beats would be very disappointed if he were here in me, because Beats is the one that kind of keeps us on track. You know, like I've totally like not followed our notes whatsoever
Oh
at
no,
all.
no, I kind of expected that because I'm the same. Like,
Yeah,
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 yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just like Beats like, all right, that's enough of that, Zach. Moving on. You know, like
I
every
know.
5 minutes he does that. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed our conversation, so I don't have a problem with it. But I just look at our notes, like we've made it through like 3 points out of like 20, and I'm like, oh, okay. And we're like longer than any podcast that Beats and I have ever done. So I just thought it was funny.
You
But
need someone to keep. Yeah, you need someone to kind of reels you back in. And that's
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the problem is like me and you, we will just talk and we want to say something like we have to say that, and then we just take turns doing that back and forth and nonstop. And then an hour and a half later, you're like, oh, we have a podcast to do. But so I
So
did want to ask you one thing about the like they were talking the Tiki Chief blueprint. Like they were supposed to go home with the resources to print, right? So Illusion Weaver said when they got home they would have it, and so far like I haven't seen a pop up saying anybody printed it. So I just curious if anybody had printed the Tiki Chief. Is it, do you
yeah, I don't
know?
know. I didn't hear anything, but like I said, I'm not as up to date right now because I'm just too busy with the other stuff. But I don't think anyone printed. No,
Yeah.
because I always at least check the wiki Discord. And if something happens, people post it there. So we have like a to do
Yeah.
channel,
Right.
so we don't miss anything. That's really helpful. It's really nice. So someone who doesn't have time, they see something, they dump it in there,
Right.
and then someone can actually do and put it on the wiki.
Yeah. I'm
So I always
asking
check.
an off topic, so but yeah,
Sorry?
you're right. Yeah. Yeah, the wiki team is awesome. Like there's a lot of good and helpful people in there. It's like
Oh
ridiculous
yeah,
ridiculous. Like the wiki and whatever you got going just attracted a whole bunch of the right people in there, you know. Like
yeah.
what I mean, I don't know, like I mean just from the small things, like when I started making people's profiles and stuff like that, there's like people that jumped in and like I don't even remember who they were, but like they're just doing circles around me working on the profile. It's like dang, like there's a lot of helpful people in here, you know. So like, and even K-Hag with the I everybody gives him props on like I mean, and I'm not um downplaying like how smart he is or his ability or his like he's got that some people just have it, You know what I mean? Like when there's a problem and there's an issue and it's like a technical problem, they just go figure it out. They dig into the issue and figure it out. Whatever it is, if it's like a different language, if it's a code, if it's like something's not displaying right, and you got to figure like K-Hag's that guy. He just goes in, digs in, and figures it out. If there's a problem solution, but he's also just like a hard worker. So you'll see him doing like sometimes like whatever. Sorry, bad word, bitch work. Like you'll see him doing that too. So I'm just like, dude, this guy's,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Well, he
like,
always says he tries not to do it, but the
yeah,
thing is,
I
it's
know,
like
I know.
no, because he already does a lot, and that's why the whole wiki organization honestly just took us a life on its own, where there's so many people who have good ideas, and we add that, and now it's like there's so many people who help with edit. So there's people who like to just do edits. They like there's a task and
Yeah,
then okay, I can do this, and they do it. There's people they just like to say, hey, this was interesting, and they just put it in there. Like for example, Corlisiel, he always adds like if there's something interesting, he posts it,
yeah, yeah.
and
He's
that
he's
I'm
he's good at that for sure.
yeah. But then the people who like to do the
Another
edits,
smart guy.
they can just do it. They add it,
Yeah,
and there's so much now that I don't even know what's going on a lot of times.
but
Which
that's
that's how it
like
should
that's
be.
great though,
That's
right?
how it
Yeah,
should be.
exactly. It
You
wouldn't.
know?
I feel like it wouldn't be a proper wiki otherwise. Like one
Yeah,
person isn't really capable of doing
yeah, but
the amount
see,
of edits and modifications that this wiki. I mean, you would have to make it a much more generic wiki with comments and stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be updated if you were going to have it be like a less, you know what I mean, like have less people staffed to help update it or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
also way too. It's a way. It's I would say it's way too detailed what it has to
Yeah,
be.
I mean,
But it's also because there are like you say there are people
but
who
there's
really
no
like to
tutorial,
do it,
right? So what do you got to do?
and
So you got to help
so
people.
why not, but I think we probably have the most freaking documented game, like compared to the player base that Coin on the World has, like it's it's
Yeah,
ridiculous,
yeah, yeah,
but it's fun, and like you say, or I gotta say, like you found the right people to do it. I always say, like, I kind of found my tribe, like I really like the people who help me with
yeah,
doing it and just do the stuff.
yeah. Well, I
I
one
would
you
this is the reason why I keep playing the game at this point too. It's like there I found so many people that we can just um talk about stuff or do stuff, and it's just amazing. This month is the first time I'm kind of like I don't spend as much time on it. I just don't have enough time. But honestly, I say like as soon as this month is done, I will just put way more effort again or time into the wiki.
yeah.
Um,
You're starting a new job though, right?
yeah. Well, I will in July, yeah. So, and then I will have less time too.
Right, yeah. That's funny. I remember you saying that you whatever, I don't know if you were laid off or what, you quit or what, but then the job you're going to is more than the job you left, or you're making more than when you left. So that's funny. That's good for you though, right?
I
But
think, and you can see it too, maybe I'm talking too much now too, but before Coin Hunter, that was like I would describe myself as like introvert and shy. Like I would, if someone have asked, and I told that IT guy like last year when I was on his podcast, if someone would have asked me before Coin Hunter to go on a podcast or like
yeah,
do YouTube like this, I
right.
would have said I can't.
Dude,
I can never
I'm the
do it.
same way though. Like I would have, I mean, that drinking helps me, but you do the right thing. You like gather productive, good lasting relationships, and all I do is drink and then I can talk to people. So
That was the
I'm
same for me too. Like you loosen up, but no, it really gave me I found out that I can do it, and it's fine, and it really helped with like just being able to be more social, like
yeah.
with people, in your daily life, and then it helps. I was more like in a tunnel vision and just doing my stuff, and so I probably
Pos
maybe hmm?
Posps. I'm sorry. Side tangent. Posp says you sound like Illusion Weaver, but I told him uh, I
Well, his
la-
Belgian,
I laughed,
yeah,
but I don't think it's true. But I mean, you guys kind of have a similar accent, but I don't think you guys sound like. But
yeah, maybe it sounds a little bit, yeah, But it's
Yeah.
funny. I get a lot of like people say like I'm Irish or something.
Irish. I don't get
It's
Irish.
weird.
That's
It's weird.
funny.
It's funny because I don't think a lot of people are like hear my accent a lot because there's not that many like Swiss German people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
rare that someone would hear that accent. You know, in
Sure.
English. So it's very hard for people to actually place it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I
There was some question before I think we missed, but let me see if I can
a
find.
question. Uh, oh, so
Oh, someone asked when the game was first released, and I think you. Well, they have the anniversary in August, September.
yeah. I think
So
I was gonna say I think it was August.
so this August, September, it will be 2 years.
So 2020 August,
And
right? Is that
so
right?
yeah, so when you said you started in December or whatever, that was
Well,
fairly like that was a few months after they literally just started, and
yeah.
then in
Yeah. I mean, I think Black Boy started like November, December, and who's that chick he always played with? Um, she had,
Irene or
yeah,
something.
she had introduced the game to him, and then
Yeah,
there were a bunch of people. But a lot of the people that started, like, one of them's Fly Pig, and he and Renee have like that vampire blueprint. Like nobody
yeah.
wants to let it go, and I'm like, I'm begging for somebody to get it that is a hardcore hunter because one person, like, I mean, I'd love to have it, but like, I know I'd have to fight for it for a bunch of people, but I mean, Manel would be a good option too because you know he's the um, whatever QB printing machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So
think that year in review, I had the QB thing, like, but I think that was primarily because the first like month, maybe two, but I think it was just the first month, like January, you got. I mean, it's been discussed a bunch, but you got leaderboard points for repetitive prints of QBs,
yeah.
and I had so much green paint that I was just painting repeatedly. I was like, I don't know, how do you climb up this leaderboard, you know? And then you know, but after that, like I mean, I was printing to sell in the auction house when the auction came out, but like yeah, I mean, Manel's like selling 69 Valentine's QBs and stuff like that. I'm like, what? I was like, okay,
Well, you
yeah.
have to have the blueprints to make profit, though. That's the thing
Yeah.
too. Like
Well, a lot of times,
I
like
don't,
I've had Valentine's just not sell, and then it's just a waste of a green key too.
I
So,
know.
but
And then wouldn't it the resources sell for more though?
mm,
Like I don't have a blueprint,
yeah,
but I could actually
that's
make
what
profit.
Corkio preaches that too. She's like, why would I print this leprechaun when, you know, when I can turn around and sell the purple paint stack for equivalent, or I mean, I don't know what it is. Like you'd have to add up. Like it takes 100 of green, yellow, purple, and red, and which is really
Yeah.
cheap, but still the QB itself doesn't sell, so that makes it not really cheap. And when you're considering that, like you just said, the resources almost sell for just as much. I get kind of like I don't know, like I kind of just like printing, but it's I don't know, it's more fun to sell a QB to me. But like if the game blows up, and there's millions of people, then the 300 Leprechaun or 240 or whatever it is blueprints will have a hard time covering the millions of people that play the game. Like that's one benefit that we have as OG players. Um, you know, those early blueprints. So to your point earlier of like gathering those assets and the lucky dog that has three OGs. You know, I don't have one. I don't even have an OG QB. So
I can sell you one.
I know
I
you
can sell you
can.
one.
I know you can. I'll pay an arm and a leg for it too. But yeah. Speaking of
Well, I
like,
gave you some of the beach cocktails too, so
yeah. Well, that you want to hold on to your resources, and I don't like. That's okay. There's a bunch of beach cocktails out there and people willing to sell to me still, and I'm trying to give people that reach out to me 30. Like I said this on my last podcast, like that reach out to me. I'm trying to give you at least 30 keys a cocktail. That might mean you have to wait for me to get keys. And since I've been hunting a whole bunch this month, like that, you know, I bought some, but like I'm not buying hand over fist cocktails because then I can't hunt. So like that's why I was giving you crap about those two cocktails. I'm like, you listing cocktails because I was bidding on them, but I was like,
actually I should have done. Yeah, I
yeah,
still have a
you
few
should have
more.
just stuck up eat like cocktails every day, one for 20 keys
I
every
know,
day.
right? I just train you. Yeah, I don't know how
Oh, it's
much you have.
funny.
I started to sell. I started to sell some resin and paint just to get more green keys. You know,
Yeah.
so I put like low amounts to try to get as many green keys as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because normally I don't sell
Really, you
stuff.
should
I
just
try to
keep those because they'll sell better next month, I bet.
the what?
That resin and
The,
paint will sell better next month, I bet.
oh yeah. Yeah, I also
I'm joking, obviously.
yeah, I know. I well with the structures you don't know. That's the thing though.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that is true. Once that first structure hits, resin prices of resin are is probably going to be absurd again. And everybody's going to want that structure. You know, I mean, obviously, KKP said in an earlier episode, like we're not going to have. It's not like you're just going to be able to get 10 million resin and plop down this first structure. That's not the way it's going to work. And I think he was saying that to all these people that were hoarding resin and buying it. You know. And I do believe it'll take a substantial amount of resin. I don't know what that substantial amount means, but he also said it will take a new resource. You remember that, right?
yeah. I I feel like they'll try to make it hard to get my guess is you need a blueprint to make the structure. So how do you get that? How do you get that blueprint?
Yeah.
And maybe there are some quests, or maybe the battle pass comes into play with that.
Yep.
That
Or maybe it's just a shop drop.
gotta
I don't think we know.
yeah, or you shop
We should
shop drop.
ask
Yeah, that
that
might
in
be a little bit
chat.
easy though. Stuff is never easy. That's what I like the game too. See that it's interesting.
What if the blueprint for a bank is a purple? And we limit the number of people who can grab them. You know, what if structure blueprints are like purples? That'd be a pretty big key sink.
Yeah, but then the return would have to be there too to actually make people do it though.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's the point, though. That's the point that they don't want structures everywhere, all over, and they want people to actually own a bank to have other people utilizing it. So that might make sense to make it expensive because then if you make that investment, then other people are going to come to your bank, you know, right? Because it's
Yeah,
free for them if they want to just earn interest, or I guess I call it interest, but they're calling it staking, you know. But if they just
yeah,
want to, if you want to just earn interest for staking your keys, then you don't pay anything, right? I mean, we don't know for sure, but like maybe there's an upfront fee, maybe there's not. I don't. We don't know how it works, but I think that it would cost you nothing just as a user of the bank initially, and then you would just get like a small percentage of your staking reward or interest reward taken from you and given to the bank owner, right?
yeah. But there, a good point. See, that's the thing. It can't be too easy because if everyone has a bank, then what's the point?
Yeah,
So
right.
it has to be somewhat difficult.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
another good reason to like from a design perspective, Illusion Waiver said like you can't have another bank in a mile radius. And I honestly wish it were slightly wider, maybe like 2 miles or something. Like because then you know there can't be one every block or two or five blocks or whatever, you know. So
yeah,
but yeah, yeah, I think we're on the same page there. I mean, this is the kind of stuff where they're drawing on the whiteboards and like, well, let's make this structure, but we can't have this. And then and this, I feel like some of the structures, like they're gonna put out there, think they have it ironed out, and then be like, shit, this isn't what we thought, you know, and they'll have to like
yeah.
change it. But
But
like,
people always find loopholes. But like people always find ways to use something a different way. And then you
right,
have to adapt. Like stuff you can't think about everything. It's it's probably like they maybe didn't expect that people would drive around so much to go after vaults.
yeah, yeah.
Like when you start the game, would you expect that people would literally like drive around for hours?
Well, I kind
Like
of look at it like this. So like, I could just go buy crypto and just stake it and whatever and make that. I could just do that and then do whatever I want. And that is something I actually do happen to do, but an alternative to that for me is like I can drive around and play a video game and accomplish the same thing. And like essentially, I mean, technically you can walk and do the same thing. You just get a lot less. You know what I mean? So like if they find a way to reel that in, then like I mean they're working toward that. But like you know what I mean? So like I just look at it as another way to DCA. Like in my gas money is
yeah,
essentially me buying that crypto. I mean
yeah,
it's not our keys, especially if it's in game. But like I'm like the game's like my last year's whatever tax return was like over $6,000 in crypto that I had to claim from Coin World. So like it's like thank you.
yeah. It's yeah, like you can also say like other people they play hours every day in video games. They don't make any money, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Love the play to
Yeah,
earn perspective. Like that's where I've always been though.
and that's why sometimes it's weird when people complain. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
can obviously not play this and make like 20 or 30 or $40 an hour, you know.
Yeah.
But you also like you play other games where you wouldn't make any money, you know. And it's not just the for me. See, I don't see it just as the crypto you earn. It's the value you have on the items because, and I hope it will come, and they obviously say it will happen, that you can actually sell or trade the items, you know.
Right.
So it's not just the crypto you earn. It's all the like even now if you think about it, like those cubies or blueprints, even though they don't really have a use right now yet, they people are willing to pay hundreds of dollars in keys to get them, you know. So there's already a value, obviously.
Right. I think you know a lot of people are really anticipating that and excited about it and I'm not purposefully dropping Block Boy's name. That's not intentional, just so nobody gets the wrong idea. But like he came into the last Hunter's Lodge and asked what I would consider one of the best questions that was asked, and was like, well, you know, when are we going to see stats and uses for those QBs? Like which is what you're
Yeah,
talking about now, and like it's because right now they have no utility, and he wants them to be NFTs, and I want them to be NFTs, and you want them to be NFTs and have value, and all that's coming. But it's like they're developing this game slowly, or at least it's not necessarily slowly, it's slower than the hardcore players want it to be. So, but yes,
yeah,
I'm excited. I mean, honestly, I'm ready to pay for the battle pass. So, I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I like the game, so everybody knows that, right?
yeah. I don't know why not. You know, look, I see it with you say like you're cheap with stuff like that. I would say I'm the same with like gaming too. Like, I don't really spend money on skins or what. I play a game. I don't spend money on skins,
Right. Me too.
but I can see it now. Like my son plays Fortnite, and like people like to collect those
Mm-hmm.
different skins with
Right.
those moves or
Exactly.
whatever the hell it's dances or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So clearly people want it. They spend money. People are willing to spend money on it.
Right.
With this game, the benefit is actually you as a player. You can earn it, and you can sell it to someone who wants it.
Right. Yeah. And me and you might not be in that ballpark, but there is going to be some player that wants to buy that, you know? Um,
Oh yeah,
and I mean, I think we technically are in that ballpark because I think we'll probably be two players to get the battle pass, but I don't know. So
yeah, sure. But also we probably get it because we assume it adds more value. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. The play to
So
earn
like you have a battle
perspective.
pass, and that's probably what they say too. Is like I don't know what but let's say you pay $20 a month or whatever for a battle pass, but if you get like I don't know blueprint or like some resources that have a higher value than $20,
Right.
it's actually worth it to do.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
We'll see.
All
But
right.
also, I think it adds like something more to do in the game.
Yep.
Where you have like something to hit, and I see that now with the leaderboard. The As much as it's a grind to try to stay on top, it really motivates you to do more. And I had a little bit of a slump when I tried to catch up to Ulster because I didn't know how much the gap is.
Yeah.
Once you pass me and we would go back and forth a bit, honestly, that's the coolest thing because like it keeps you like it keeps you
I don't think
motivated
it's
because
cool just waiting for the next referral to come in. Sorry, Merle. I was joking. Yeah, yeah, no, the competitiveness is awesome. Yeah, it is.
yeah.
I agree with you. But
I
Ulsterman's
didn't
gone.
spend that much time promoting the game this month, and that's it's even less. There's even less referrals. See, it does takes a lot of effort too to get those referrals. It doesn't just come in.
Right.
Like you say with Squeamy, he's probably shadow banned everywhere. Like you got to post on Reddit, and you got to post on Twitter, and you got to
Right.
drop it in other Discords. Like it takes a lot of time to get a few. So
Right.
it takes time and effort too. But yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of time and effort, those promoter roles, they kind of just never came, right?
No.
But
Were you interested in that too? Because I remember last year when they mentioned it the first time. See that back then, I was like, I can't do it. I'm too shy to do stuff like that. But now, obviously, I will be very much interested.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like I don't know what the criteria is. I don't know what the purpose is. I don't know what makes you fit into that promoter role. For me, in my perspective, looking at you, I'm like, you're the Coin Hunt World Wiki owner. I would think that like you would be like an auto promoter. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you would share that amongst the wiki team, but like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, from a promoter perspective, I don't know how that would work, but like, or if you could get allocated a number of promoter roles. Like, again, we don't know anything about it.
I don't
So,
know. I don't. There's no details. They just. I think last year, if you want to do it, you could say if you're interested. And I think a bunch of like streamers they showed interest. And I think the idea was probably also to have like that's my guess. Have like real life events. Like let's say you go downtown, whatever. You go downtown New York or like Toronto,
hmm
and you have a bunch of people there and you give out flight and you explain the game or you play with people, and then people are like, oh, what is this, and there's always people are curious, and they you get them like to start playing stuff like that, I guess. But I would also say, like street like people do podcasts or streams, or yeah, like the wiki or the map,
yeah,
like stuff like that, like now for me, I was looking forward to it to just it will I feel like it would help grow the game,
yeah,
because it would just the same with the referral system too. I think if you make it if it keeps people motivated to talk about the game or like just bring it out more, it helps to just grow.
yeah. I agree with you. Yep. But it's unfortunate that I feel like um, they may have had to stop giving out keys, but I also feel like they were encouraged to nerf the rewards for the referral system because, I mean, in a way, it was kind of a buff for you. Not, I mean, I'm sure you would have rather had it the other way, but in a sense, it was more of a nerf for other people that can't quite get as many. But I feel like that that change was pushed because of people cheating or like rigging the system. You know,
Yeah, but I didn't cheat the system. Like the referrals that I have are from like signing up from the wiki or like Reddit or Discord, whatever. I think the problem they had to change it is because yeah, people would sign up their whole family, and create like 10 accounts or whatever. And like I don't know if you remember early last year, you actually got like I think you got $2 in crypto
yeah,
with
yeah,
the referral,
right,
and then you got the keys as soon as they would upforge one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that it was obviously way too like it was way too OP, like,
mm-hmm.
and I bet there were a lot of people who cheated with that. I kind of actually, to be honest, I kind of got screwed over with this change because I never got a red key
You never got one red key.
last year, and then there was they would make an event with the red vaults, and I think literally like a few days before, and I was like, oh yeah, red vaults, so I'll get, hopefully I get a bunch of red keys.
Yeah, the
And
events
literally
don't
like a
count.
few days before the event, they said, oh, we changed the referral. You What was it? Like you actually have to solve it? Oh no, they actually
No,
blocked it for a
yeah,
while.
I
I
think
think
if
there's a
it's
phase where they
I thought if it was part of the event, it didn't count. Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, whatever. So I didn't get any. And I think the only one I got was and I remember Corlethal, he actually printed his red key before the event started. And I even told him like why would you do it? Because you only want to up fortune you actually use it.
You
So I
know,
got that one.
there was it's probably before you, maybe not before you joined, but it was definitely before the wiki was big. But there was um, I don't know if you call it a glitch or an exploit. It was just it's an exploit, but it wasn't like intentional. But when I forged my purple key, um, I can't remember his name because he's not very active. He doesn't play very much. But when I joined the Discord, for all I know, I probably should have given mine to Squeamy or a Hobo, one of the guys that posted in Reddit at the time, but I joined the Discord, and I was just, like I told you, I was asking if the game was real, if they gave out real crypto or whatever, and then this guy DM'd me and asked me if he could have my referral. I'm like, sure, I don't care. And then so I gave him my referral, and Squeamy referred him. So when I forged my key, I think Squeamy got one, and then Hobo referred Squeamy. So like there was a chain effect initially. So that they figured that out, and then they fixed that. But I don't know, I
Well,
guess
you're saying like if someone upforges a purple, the one person gets a purple. No,
the first time you get a key initially, the your referral would get it. So I gave my referral. I was like the second, or I think I was the second person to forge a purple, and never actually saw the purple vault, but I think it was the second person to forge it. And then so my referral got one, and then Squeamy had referred him, and Squeamy didn't have, or that guy obviously the first time he had a purple because I was the second person to forge one, and then I gave Squeamy one, and that was the first time Squeamy had a purple, and so then Hobo, who referred Squeamy, got one, and it's a downstream effect, and then they caught that obviously. So
but are you sure that Squeamy got a purple?
they took it
He
away. They took it away, but yeah,
I
that
took it away.
they
Okay, yeah,
they
because
found the
I think
exploit. So
yeah, because Squeamy actually shared it once, and then he had like 9 vets or something for referrals.
yeah, he told me they took it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it worked that way for every key, but well, yeah, I mean
I have three red ones so far. I got two more. You know, when Cuckoo Puffs went to Vancouver,
mm-hmm,
there were a bunch of Vancouver people there.
yeah.
So clearly, I have two people in Vancouver are my referrals because I got two red
Oh,
keys. Then
when
that
they
was
solved the
nice.
vault. Oh yeah, you got it
Yeah,
off of
that the
that.
red
That's
vault there.
awesome.
So yeah.
That's awesome
So,
that you got the red keys from
yeah,
that. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Should encourage him to set up some more red vaults.
I know. I know.
You're gonna have random red keys coming in.
I
It's
know.
funny. Yeah. So you briefly had written down here that the Coin Hunt World Fest. You had a comment on here asking if I would go. I'm gonna turn that on you and ask if you're gonna go.
Okay, but yeah. So I will if they make one, I'll go. Um,
My guess is
yeah,
it's
like I
gonna
say,
be in like they said
I will
Las
probably
Vegas,
go
right?
alone. Hmm?
Alone.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it most likely will be Las Vegas. They mentioned a few times. I think it's also easier to organize it there with like
Yeah.
rooms and everything. And
Yeah, I mean, if they do it, I would plan on going. Whether or not I go alone would be up to my wife. But I mean, actually, whether or not I go at all would be up to my wife. But and whether or not I go alone would also be up to my wife. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think. Yeah, but
yeah,
I'd like to go. It would be cool if like it was paid for with purple key. But I don't know. I mean, like we'll see. My understanding is that's what that intern he hired's for, like to help figure that stuff out. But I mean,
yeah.
we'll see. I
Well,
mean, if it happens. We'll see.
yeah. Well, IT guys keep saying he's trying to save for a purple key. So
Yeah, IT guy's ready. Like, I mean, he's obviously not ready for it, but he's ready for it. Like, he wants it. Yeah.
I'm not willing to sell stuff yet to get to the purple key. But if they say like, and I hope we get enough like lead time, to organize like travels and stuff, and then
Yeah.
hopefully gives enough time to actually to sell some stuff to get to the purple key. Because yeah, if they actually get something where you say, hey, if you have a purple key, get some specific stuff, then or like you said, you pay for the travels or something.
Right.
That would be a nice option. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I personally, I would just look forward. I would really like to meet people.
Yeah. Here you are saying you're like introverted, and now you're asking to meet people.
That
What is this, Marlov? You're like an
yeah, no, that's what I'm
extrovert.
saying. It changed. It changed.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's probably the common interest is probably like the biggest thing that would
it
help you.
helps
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And then
helps.
like
Yeah,
literally you have people coming at you like saying, "Hey, I can help contribute too." So that probably helps you, that constant reach out of people too, right? I mean, I would think. I'm speaking for you. I don't know.
yeah. It slowed down a bit, and it's there's a few people who do a lot of stuff, and some did like last year some did some stuff and they either stop playing or they do others. Like that's the thing. Like you do as much as you can. Like you don't. I don't, or we as a group, we don't expect from someone to do like more than they want to or have to. And there's enough people to get it going. And if no one has time, then no one has time. And
Yeah.
but stuff still gets done. So
Mm-hmm.
it works really well. I I personally would say I was hoping the wiki would get more referrals because, like, I know I'm sharing. I have this pool,
Yeah.
and you're in there too, and it's just like in 2022, it didn't give as much referrals as I kind of was expecting, and I kind of feel bad because I was hoping the people who help with the wiki would get some. It's nice to get a yellow key or a green key once in a while, and even
Right.
now, when the changes now, you get mystery boxes.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it gives you a bunch of blue keys. Worst, you have 8 blue keys.
Right.
So it's just a nice little like boost. And I feel like the people who put a lot of effort in the wiki, they kind of deserve it too.
Yeah. That's a nice thing for you
Like
to
I
do.
I was hoping like that Kevin like Kag would be like number 2 by now. Because I feel like he deserves it. He does so much stuff for like not just the wiki but for
It's
the
a small
community itself.
percentage though that he gets, right? I mean, ultimately, right?
No, I gave him more. I gave him a chunk from mine too. Now,
Oh, okay. Well, he
yeah,
does do a lot of work. Like
I try to push him, and I
you
mentioned
try to
this.
push him. Hey, work more. I'll give you a raise.
No, not push work, push him with referrals,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
I said, in my opinion, he should be first or second. He
Yeah.
does a lot for the game.
Well, I did. I mean, I did notice that he's uh raising up on the list, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's not much movement since this year though. It's kind of frozen. Like no one really moves anymore. But it's also because they think they count the active referrals, which nowadays means you need level 3 in the HQ. So it's
Hmm.
even harder to actually like get
Okay.
them, to that point,
So you mean you're not actually a referral until you're at like HQ level 3? Is that what you're saying?
Once they sign up, they're pending,
Oh, okay.
but
But
they only turn active and count for the leaderboard when
when
they get the HQ level 3.
okay, okay.
And that's
So
not
can they?
like
Here's a question: can they print the QBs that give the person you of all people that I assume you would know before anybody, since you probably get the most? Um, that um, can they print the QBs before they put down their HQ that would give you the leaderboard points for the, or do they have to put down
what?
the HQ3 and then print? Does that make sense?
No, you get no because they need the red QB first, and with the red QB you can
Oh,
build the HQ,
okay.
not the
I
H3.
thought you needed the yellow for that. Sorry, yeah. I need to go look at
Yeah,
that
so
wiki.
but it wouldn't matter. Like I think even you would probably get the green key. Like you don't need the HQ level 3 to get the referral bonus or yeah bonus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. We got to start to wrap up though soon.
Yeah, we
I think
do.
it's
We're
been 2 hours.
over 2 hours. Yeah, my wife's gonna be opening that door behind me pretty soon.
I
Um,
just got a text too, so
All right. So this week's Twitter theme is water features. I don't know what that means, but take pictures of water, I assume, and like spraying maybe. Uh, I'll let you give props to your buddy Quest this week too.
oh yeah, yeah. I had mine this week with Roof. I don't even know how to
Rough,
pronounce it.
rough.
RUF. Yeah,
Yeah, he's an
he's
OG.
yeah, he's in the Niagara Falls region on the Canadian side.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually very close to me. It's a 45 minute drive.
Oh wow, small
So
world.
I know, yeah.
All right. So
But it was very quick and he was very flexible too at the time, so that was good. So
yeah,
we just did it
Rough's
over
a
there.
nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I didn't have a buddy quest. I put a note in here that the RNG gods are rooting for you to win since I didn't get one since last week. I just like K Hagen Beats are rooting for you. So
I know, eh?
my co-host, thanks Beats.
That's okay. I think yeah. Oh, I'm fine if I'm second.
No man, you need to try for first.
I will try. I'm competitive. I will not just give it to you, but
There you go. There you
yeah,
go. That's like what would be the worst case scenario is if like you know that you didn't try or whatever. Because if you came in third, I don't. Somebody would have to drop like a ton of resin, but that would be terrible. You know, so
Yeah,
you need to push. You know,
yeah.
so but I mean, there's 3 days, right? One, two. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, no,
70,
Thursday. Yeah,
71 or 71 hours and 20 minutes ish, 18 minutes, 16. So anyway, I didn't have Buddy Quest. You put in this is totally out of order, but you put in a trivia question here. Math. How many miles are there in a league? And the answer is three. I don't know. Is that a green question?
it's a green question. I had it the first time I got it wrong. I don't really think in miles. So I don't know. I guess in the US, I guess people just know that. I don't know
I
how
don't think
difficult
in
it is.
leagues.
No,
What's a
you don't
league?
say you just walked one league. No,
No.
but so yeah. Uh,
Yeah. I guess that's just the American thing. And
I got it one time. I looked it up, and then it was three. And I'm like, oh, it kind of makes sense. It's a fairly short distance, in the old days, I guess. So
elite.
I got it the second time today or yesterday, so I got it right this time.
So why? So a league is just under 5K then? Okay. All right. So this is normally the part where Beats gives me the beat. So I don't know how you want to end it, but we'll end it.
um, are you doing it or when?
You're gonna say, Zach, give him the beat.
Okay. Oh, you will add it later on. Okay. Zach, give me the beat.
There you